marcher, tête en l'air l'espoir, l'ambition gonfle le cœur doux. Tendez frères, nous gagnons fierté, contre la peau de salut. Nous c'est premiers noués sous la terre, c'est ça yo dit. Songez, n'en battez un drapeau nous, l'emblème nous c'est progrès. L'union fait la force, mépriser, maltraiter, qu'on s'aime toujours derrière. On s'entendait, trahison, sautit dans Guinée. Mouche blanc, crier la division. Si nous pas l'ouvrir chez nous, dans génération ça, mais qui côté nous pour aller? C'est ensemble, coude à coude n'arriver. On fait combito, sans cette yo te dit ça. Dans l'union fait la force, comme ça nous va marcher. Oh, oh, oh. Mais dans la main, comme ça nous va marcher. Dans l'esprit, l'amour, l'union fait la force. Mais dans la main, comme ça nous va marcher. Dans l'esprit, l'amour, l'union fait la force. Dans l'esprit l'amour, l'union fait la force. Enfin, sans cette yo va content, les nous va suivre l'exemple, yo t'es tracé depuis dans l'esclavage. Yo va crier le joie, lumière va servir l'entourage. Grand chemin.
Oh, fais l'envie crier pour nous rassembler famille. Nous on se racine, on serre, on s'en va marcher.
Tête ensemble, coude à coude d'arriver. On fait un compito, sans cette yo te dit ça. Dans l'union fait la force, comme ça nous va marcher. Mais dans la main, comme ça nous va marcher. Dans l'esprit l'amour, l'union fait la force. Mais dans la main, comme ça nous va marcher. Dans l'esprit l'amour, l'union fait la force. Mais dans la main, comme ça nous va marcher.
N'a vive nos pays, créé Haïti, qui tout petit. Là-dedans, tout touriste, toujours qu'on vini, vin investi, vin prend plaisir, qu'on y a fini, avec bandit, toute l'autre nation, a paix sourire, y a paix réjoui, parce que nous c'est, premier peuple noir, indépendant, yo pas d'accord ça. Yo pas d'accord ça. Yo détruit tout ça possédé, cocoé, cacao lait, yo pas vle, pour nous vivre j'en nous vle, yo font gens, yo fait diviser. Maman de jusqu'il est, n'a réveillé, maman de jusqu'il est, j'ai n'a calé, maman de jusqu'il est, n'a va connaître nous son père vaillant, qui est dépendant, qui est dépendant.
Je m'en regarde pays ça là, monsieur. Et que vous n'avez pas changer nous. Mais ça, c'est pas destiné à changer bagaille. L'éternel va le parler, oui, monsieur. Ouais, quoi ça? Je vois pas nous arriver. Haïti, ça. L'a changé. L'a changé.
Francis Pan marche tête baissée devant tout colou yo. Oh oh, yo te mette qu'il coule.
C'est ça qu'on a dit tout le monde bonsoir. C'est 23e célébration nous, de l'indépendance haïtienne. Tout le monde qui est là avec nous de tout partout, plusieurs côtés dans les États-Unis et dans d'autres pays également. Avec moi, à ce moment-là, m'a gagné un partenaire spécial pour me présenter soirée ça. I have a special co-host for tonight, co-hostess, and I am pleased to introduce Malaika Lucian. We will tell you why. Malaika, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, Dad. I'm good. Thank you for asking me to join as your co-host. I'm very excited to celebrate the 23rd annual Haitian Independence Day Gala. I want to thank HAU for all of their wonderful work they do representing the Haitian community here in Boston and across the greater Massachusetts area. So we're very excited to have you here tonight.
And let's acknowledge one thing. Our usual sidekick, partner, co-hostess, Martine, who's been doing that with us for years, currently battling certain symptoms. But the very last time, Minute Malaika agreed to step in, and merci encore Malaika, est-ce que vous faites ça? It's going to be quite an interesting program. Again, this is part of adjusting to the fact that we have to do things remotely here. We thank all the organizers and all the guests who agreed to join us. So, Malaika, what's the next actually step to this program?
So we're going to start off with the national anthem performed by Carolina Marius.
Pour les pays, pour les ancêtres, marchons unis, dans le rang de traîtres du sort, soyons seul maître. Marchons unis pour le pays, pour les ancêtres. Marchons unis pour le pays, pour les ancêtres, pour les drapeaux, pour la patrie. Mourir est beau, notre passé nous criait et la main guérie. Mourir est beau pour les drapeaux, pour la patrie. Mourir est beau pour les drapeaux, pour la Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose spot stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is wonderful. Malika, this is the first time that Carolina is actually joining HAU for such a type of celebration.
And I think she did a wonderful job. How about you, Dad?
That's the case too. These are the kind of talents that we are trying to make sure that we nurture, that we can actually bring them into the genre de talents ça encore pour nous continuer gagner pour nous embrasser culture et promouvoir culture. We are going to ask you all to please mute your phone so that we can have a wonderful event.
Don't forget to say that in Creole, Dad.
Ah oui. Well, Malaika, faut traduire pour nous tout.
Oh, I'm going to spare anyone me trying to say that.
Carolina Marius is the daughter of a great radio host, Harold Marius. Donc, clairement, mon petit fille qui a suivi travailler pour embrasser culture.
So, Charles, on a juste rappelé pour quitter microphone on mute pour que tout le monde capable enjoy célébration ensemble. Donc, tout le monde t'a pris quitter microphone sur mute. Merci.
Ou du moins, le commandant Adam, c'est le gars qui mettait tout le monde sur mute et puis là, quitter Charlot avec Malaika comme host jusqu'à ce que nous passions chaque réunion à chaque fois. Donc, if you are here again, welcome. This is the 23rd HAU Annual Haitian Independence Day Gala. Le HAU, c'est Haitian American United Inc. And what we are celebrating here is the 280th anniversary of Haiti's independence. 218 ans depuis que contre vent et marée, Haïti est indépendant et n'a célébré là dans la diaspora. What do we have next? That would be our custom to introduce Pastor Eno Mondésir for a prayer to help us start this event. Pasteur Mondésir, s'il vous plaît, si vous là.
Merci. Shall we bow our heads? Prions Dieu. Heureuse la nation dont l'Éternel est le Dieu. Heureux le peuple dont il choisit pour son héritage. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he chose for his inheritance. Avec révérence, ô notre Dieu, nous prosternés pour remercier au Seigneur pour une transition que vous faites nous faire de 2021 à 2022. Une transition nous fait au Dieu, peut-être en pile dans nous, t'es frappé par COVID ou d'autres fléaux, d'autres calamités, d'autres pandémies. Mais nous pouvons dire jusqu'ici, à l'instar de juge Samuel, dans Samuel 1, Samuel chapitre 7, Ebenezer, oui, jusqu'ici, l'Éternel nous a secourus. Seigneur, tu as été pour nous un guide, un secours. We thank you, O God, that we can come to you at this hour as you help us to transition from 2021 to 2022 and from many obstacles, pandemics, and everything. And so as we gather here this evening to celebrate the Haitian independence that occurred 218 years ago, Father, we pray that your presence will be with us, and may that the work that we accomplish through this institution called HAU may be to expand your mission here on earth. May every heart, every soul that is touched may turn to acknowledge that, yes, without you, we would not get to where we are today. There is much to do. Il y a beaucoup de choses, plus à célébrer, plus à établir, plus de choses à continuer à travailler pour arriver, Seigneur, à, en fait, donner force à notre indépendance. Oui, 218 ans, mais encore nous avons beaucoup de travaux à effectuer. C'est pourquoi nous te demandons, ô notre Dieu, sois avec nous, conduis-nous et bénis chaque monde qui a pénétré, Seigneur, qui a assisté dans le programme ça à soi, que chaque monde capable de sortir édifié. May everyone be touched. May they contribute to this great work, and may your kingdom establish. Nous te prions au nom de Jésus, notre Sauveur, à qui seul soit la gloire, dès maintenant et jusqu'au grand matin de l'éternité bienheureuse. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Eno. Let's say that usually at that time we have our friends, the great musician Samson Prosper, to introduce the ringing for the death. However, we have a technical problem here. We are going to do it together, silently, because when we do this ringing, we are thinking about the thousands who fought and lost their lives for the independence of Haiti so that we can be free and we can spread freedom across the globe. We are also thinking today about the thousands who lost their lives to COVID, whether here in Haiti or in the world. We are also thinking about the 2,300 people who lost their lives during the earthquake in Haiti on August 14th. So we are going to ask you to please stay with us for 30 seconds to observe some minutes of silence in memory of the ancestors and all of those who lost their lives recently. Thank you. Malaika?
Thank you for that moment of silence. And next, we will hear from our illustrious chairman, Pastor Kiki Flolisant, for some opening remarks. Pastor Kiki, if you can unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much, Malaika. Thank you, Charlo, for the opportunity that we have tonight to celebrate despite all the odds. Honorable Mayor of Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu, Honorable Senator Sal DiDomenico, Senator Michael Brady, Senator Nick Collins, Honorable State Representative Rob Gonsalvo, State Rep Brenda Frocker Oakley, Honorable Councilor, the only Haitian American Councilor at large, the first in Boston Woodsy region, Councilor Ziegler, and our guest speaker, Gerlin Joseph. And then also all the other organizations, Mira Coalition, Caribbean cultural organizations, and all the Haitian organizations, partners of HAU. Good evening. Colleagues, allies, partners, and friends of Haiti, on behalf of the Board of Haitian Americans United Incorporated, I extend my best wishes of multiple blessings for a prosperous and healthy New Year 2022. May God grant us this year a clearer vision to continue on promoting Haitian patriotism and culture, as well as advocating for positive social changes and development for Haitian communities in Haiti, the US, and abroad. Let us stand and appreciate our heroes who died for our independence. We thank God for your positive contribution, which has enabled the organization to sustain its 23rd year of existence. The road travel so far has not been easy. However, with our resilience and our determination to always moving forward, we are now celebrating 23 years of HAU, as well as Haiti 218th independence anniversary. The last year and a half brought unexpected stormy seasons, stresses, and surprises. But we lived up and continue to survive despite the ravaging effects of COVID-19, the assassination of Haiti president, the terrible earthquake that had inflicted severe wounds to the Southern Peninsula, the social, economic, and political instability merged with the flambé of deadly gang activities that crippled the country's well-being. We had seen first glance with greater clarity how economic and racial justice, housing and healthcare justice, and immigration justice are all intertwined. To quote broadly our friend Steve Forrester from Haiti Democracy, it is not shameful still for the US to send humans, including infants, in violation of their rights to hellish conditions in which they may die, to do this relentlessly day after day, while simultaneously giving corrupt anti-democratic leaders in Haiti the power and all the assistance. Still, our communities continue to carve out a path in a world still plagued by COVID-19 while actively confronting structural racism, fighting back discriminatory practices of US here, and locally to fight on difficult challenges as income inequality, housing unaffordability, and gentrification, as well as Safe Communities Act and Driver License Act. Now more than ever, we must embrace the love and compassion we have felt for those touched by the pandemic into a practical and powerful recipe for systemic change. It is very difficult for us, but we can continue to fight and gain the power to make change while invoking the force of love. If we are to transform and heal our world, we need to heal and love, as Dr. Martin Luther King just puts it. In closing, we have seen so many divides in the United States, as well as in Haiti. Let us seek peace and pursue love. From the Apostle Paul epistle, he stated that love always protects, love always trusts, love always hopes, love always perseveres, and love never, never fails. Happy Independence and happy and healthy New Year 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kiki, for those wonderful, inspiring words. And I want to give you a special thanks for your leadership this entire year, or this past year, especially throughout the pandemic, to really bring vaccines to the Haitian community and to be on the forefront of vaccine equity. So we are so appreciative for your leadership, and we know that you'll continue to do that in this upcoming year. So thank you on behalf of everyone on this call. Next up, we have our General Consul, Hans Charles, for some few remarks. Can you please unmute yourself? Consulat, are you there?
Encore une fois, on a remercié M. Keke pour remarque que vous fait là, et Malaka a bien précisé que il manifestait leadership pendant l'année qui passée là, ensemble avec un paquet de collègues dans HAU, avec notre organisation en tant que partenaire, travail ni sur question équité dans la question vaccin, pardon, mais sur question immigration également tout capacité communautaire. Est-ce que nous avons un prochain intervenant?
I'm not seeing them.
Okay.
So I think we can...
Eh bien, dans cas ça, on va continuer avec un fanfare Boston. We are going to get to the fanfare of the Boston fanfare. They have been with HAU since the beginning. And if you are new to this is the 23rd time that HAU is celebrating Haitian Independence Day here in Massachusetts. We are going to hear now the Haitian fanfare, the marching band, which has been for us for quite a long time. Entendez celui-là, techniquement, Adams. There's something to be told about the power of music to bring people together. I could see people smiling. I could actually hear from where I am some heartbeats racing at the same rhythm and fast because of the pride of connecting with Haitian music and Haitian culture and history through this. Thank you again to the band. You also saw multiple generations here, Ashley Villar, Michael Sineus, and then under the leadership of Maestro, that we have to share with you later. I'm going to ask actually Pastor Kiki to introduce a very special guest. We are talking about something historic in the city of Boston. Pastor Kiki, nous introduit Maire Michel Roux. Pasteur Keke, est-ce que vous là?
Oui, Charlot.
D'accord.
Moi là, merci un peu. Nous encore retourner et nous remercier liaison que nous gagnons avec nous-mêmes, c'est Whitney Célestin, nous dit bienvenue. Nous gagnons quelques membres de MIRA, une organisation qui campent ensemble avec nous-mêmes, Javier Suarez, Amy Grande, Jessica Kiko, nous saluons. Voir un petit gens pas tellement en forme, mais nous avons fait ça. We are so delighted to have with us Mayor, our Honorable Mayor Michelle Wu, who is an American lawyer and politician, serving as the first Asian American mayor of the great city of Boston, a daughter of immigrant families, a Taiwanese family. Taiwan is a good friend of Haiti. So the first American elected woman to serve on the Boston City Council and the first Asian woman to be elected the mayor of the city of Boston, bringing bold solution to the much complex problems that we have. Again, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our honorable Mayor Michelle Wu. Bienvenue, magistrat.
Merci. Thank you so much, Pastor Florissant, Malaika, Mr. Lucien, and to everyone who's involved in organizing not just tonight, but so many important gatherings and convenings for the Haitian American community and for our friends, family, neighbors throughout Boston. I'm incredibly honored to be with you. And again, so sorry that this is on Zoom yet again. We are working diligently in the city of Boston. The virus continues to evolve. And as I just wanted to echo Malaika's gratitude earlier for so many efforts, Pastor Kiki and others, to make sure that communities continue to close gaps in vaccination, get boosted, have access to testing. And I know that will continue to be a big priority for all of us. I was trying to scan through the participant list to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I'm sure I will, but I wanted to say hello and thank you and congratulations to some of the award winners tonight. The pride of this community, I know, and someone who's making history on the Boston City Council, someone I'm excited I get to serve alongside City Councilor Ruthie Lujen. So congratulations, and I'm very honored to be in these spaces with you. I know Senator DiDomenico and Senator Collins are also receiving awards. And so thank you for all your service to the community. And I also see friends, State Rep, my representative, Rep Consalvo is on here, as well as Senator Brady and Councilor Eunice Ziegler, who is just an amazing friend and sister in service to see across municipalities. So I'm so sorry if I miss others in elected office, but I just wanted to say I'm grateful to serve alongside you all. Also to see friends from communities and coalitions, Jean-Claude Sanon, who is a close and trusted advisor, Andrew Sharp, and so many other. Anyway, I will stop there. There are members of my team here as well, whether it is Rudney, who is making sure that we are plugged in and continues to serve the city. Our new chief, Brianna Milor, our chief of community engagement. So I hope that even when I'm not in these spaces, you will consider it mandatory that our team administration will be here in representing and in my place. I just want to say, and on this day of celebration, of course, happy independence and happy joyful community into this new year, and to talk a little bit about how the history of Haiti has always shaped and set a legacy for now I'm on double. Thank you. The history of Haiti as being a beacon for democracy and for what liberty looks like, what true grassroots-led community power looks like, has been a foundation for democracies around the world. And I'm grateful that Boston has always had a special relationship directly to Haiti, not just country to country, but for our city to know that so many of the important community treasures, institutions, organizations, and of course, community leaders continue to be so closely tied to Haiti means that we are always first in line to make sure that we can be supporting. So much has happened in recent months, and I'm very, very thankful that community members have organized and continue to make sure that we are speaking up, even when issues span state and federal and international government. The city of Boston should continue to be that leading light. So I'm thankful to all of you, very, very honored to be here, and just wanted to say Happy Independence Day, a little belated, but grateful for this celebration virtually, and look forward to seeing you all in person next time.
Thank you so much, Mayor Wu. Those were some wonderful words, and we appreciate you taking some time to be here with us to celebrate our independence. Next up, we have another trailblazing woman, Dr. Garbeau, who leads IFC, who we all know so well. And she's also been doing a fantastic job advocating for our community throughout this pandemic, advocating for the victims of the latest earthquake back in August. And we are so, so grateful for her work and her efforts every single day on behalf of the Haitian community at large. So Dr. Garbeau, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you, Malaika, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for your wonderful remarks. And we are so happy to see so many of those who are fighting alongside with us to make sure that we can provide all of the service necessary to our members. So at this time, I believe I am supposed to introduce some of the children who will be playing for us. We always say that the children represent our future, and the more we work with them, the more we provide them with the infrastructure that they need so that they know that they are, or we care for them, the better. We always need to think about, okay, what are we going to leave as a legacy? And by working with the children and the youth, we are making sure that every day future where our community is going to be represented. So at this time, we're going to introduce some of our youth who are playing some of the songs reflecting the Haitian culture. So Adam, if you don't mind putting some of our songs for us, that would be wonderful. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful music. It always gets me in a good mood. I miss being in person for it. And before we get to our next part, I have to ask my dad if you know of this person who we're going to introduce for our keynote address, Miss Gerline Joseph. Have you ever heard of her, Dad?
I like how when you say Miss Gerline Joseph, I know that we have a formal introduction to make, but there are certain things you need to actually start informal first. I met Miss Gerline Joseph in Washington in 2016, and it was in the context of an international conference where she stood up and gave a powerful and emotional testimony to something that was already happening in Texas. So her being here with us tonight is no coincidence because she has been engaged into this battle, into this fight for
How can I get myself off?
In 2016. So why don't we start with a formal introduction? But I wanted to let people know that she's no stranger to what she's doing now today. Who is she?
Absolutely, absolutely. Ms. Gerline Joseph is the co-founder and executive director of Haitian Bridge Alliance Incorporated, a nonprofit organization that advocates for fair and humane immigration policies and provides migrants and immigrants with humanitarian, deportation defense, legal, social services, with a particular focus on Black migrants from the Caribbean and Africa, the Haitian community, women and girls, LGBTQIA+ individuals, and the survivors of torture and other human rights abuses.
Okay.
He's also the co-founder of Black Immigrant Project of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, an African Bureau for Immigration and Social Affairs, ABISA, with support of other Black-led organizations in response to the high bond given to Black migrants from the Caribbean and Africa. Donc, encore une fois, on nous dit que Miss Gerline Joseph, qui depuis Californie a rejoint nous, il est un cofondateur et directeur exécutif de Pont pour Alliance Haïtienne. Donc, ils sont moun qui longtemps, effectivement, la fait défense, la fait promotion, droit monde qui immigrants, et pas seulement au niveau droit légal, puisqu'il est entré dans toutes les activités qui permettent de affirmer au niveau économique le cabinet indépendant. Charles, on a pu introduire. Charles, yes, from Gerline Joseph, yes.
Avant, c'est bien, nous remercions. Avant d'introduire avec guest speaker, keynote speaker, qui c'est Gerline Joseph, mais nous avons un représentant qui est ensemble avec nous-mêmes qui doit laisser, parce que le décret averti nous ça déjà. Et nous avons 2 minutes pour le capable de présenter sa citation. Et puis après, nous avons bien avec nous-mêmes Madame Gerline Joseph.
Yes.
C'est State Representative Rob Gonsalvo, who was here since the beginning and has a citation for us, and he has to leave early due to a previously engagement.
A slight glitch. We apologize to our guest speaker. So we are going for this 1 minute, and then we'll go on. Thank you. And welcome to State Rep Rob Gonsalvo. I haven't seen you for quite a while.
Our friend, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for allowing me to go ahead, and I'm honored to be here. So proud to be a part of this event. Happy Independence Day, and I want to wish everybody a safe and happy New Year as well, and a wonderful 2022. I'm so honored to be here as your new state representative for the 14th Suffolk District, representing Hyde Park, Rosendale, Reedville, and West Roxbury in the Massachusetts House of Representatives. But certainly, as been said, I'm proud to be no stranger to this organization and to this event. I have many fond memories at this event during my time on the Boston City Council, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work with all of you on this call on so many important issues across my city council district, now my representative district, and across the city of Boston. So many friends on this call, too many to name, but I do want to thank HAU and ISFI and all of the organizations who have done so much to help so many people for so many years. The work you all have done on this call is truly amazing. You are doing what I believe is the most important thing that can be done in government and in public service in society, and that's helping people and making a difference in the lives of others. And each of you on this call do it every day. So I'm so grateful to partner with you. I'm so grateful to be here with you and to continue to support the work that you do each and every day. And I'm very excited as a brand new state representative. I have not done many official citations yet, only 1 or 2. And so I'm so proud to have the opportunity to present this official House of Representatives citation on behalf of myself and Representative Fluker Oakley, who I believe is on this call. And this comes from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts House of Representatives. Be hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Haitians American United, HAU, in recognition of the 23rd Annual Haitian Independence Day Gala, honoring Haiti's ancestors and celebrating the 218th anniversary of the proclamation of Haiti's independence. The entire membership of the House extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 8th day of January at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, by our Speaker of the House, Ronald Mariano, and proudly offered by myself and Representative Fluker Oakley. So proud to present that tonight. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Most importantly, thank you so much for the continued work that you do every day to help people all across the city. Look forward to continuing to be that partner. You can continue to count on me and reach out to me anytime I can be helpful on any issue, big or small. Thank you, everybody. Happy Independence Day and Happy New Year.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so
Thank
very
you,
much.
State Rep. Thank you, State Rep Fluker Oakley, as well for your help on that citation. We appreciate the both of you.
Okay, so now let's see if from California we can have with us our keynote speaker. Are you on?
Yes, I am. Honneur, respect, tout le monde. Honor and respect to everyone who were able to join us today. Thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be in your presence, to be seeing those beautiful faces on those screens. I so wish that we could be in person to be able to be with you and my family in Boston. What I tell people, if they tell me they're from Boston, I say, well, you're Haitian. I don't care what your background is. If you mention Boston, to me, you're Haitian. So thank you so much for having me and really understanding how the community is coming together with the elected officials. Thank you so much. And Representative Consalvo, thank you for honoring the community with this amazing recognition. It really means a lot as we move forward. Again, Happy New Year, Happy Independence Day, Happy Ancestors Day. We're not only celebrating the New Year, Independence Day, we also give honor and reverence to those who have given us freedom and liberty. And as the Mayor Wu mentioned, what Haiti represents to the world as a leader of freedom, a leader of liberation, we continue to move forward in that same belief that we must continue to push, that together we are stronger, that my freedom and liberation is connected to your freedom and liberation. And that is why our very motto is Un pile main chai palou, l'union fait la force. Many hands lighten the load, and in unity we find strength. So I honor the people of Haiti, the sons and daughters of Haiti who are currently on this call. I honor you, I hear you, I feel you. For the friends of Haiti, thank you for being on the journey with us. Moving towards 2022, we are looking forward for real change, not only for our community here, but for our homeland, our beloved Haiti. Again, Happy New Year, Happy Independence Day, Happy Ancestors Day as well. My name is Gerline Joseph, as my dear friend and mentor, Monsieur Charlot Lucien has mentioned. We've met a few years back on the battleground, really highlighting the plight of migrants that were coming to the United States, making an incredibly dangerous journey. And for me, I was born in Haiti, raised in New York, and moved to California 17 years ago. But with all of that, really trying to understand the purpose of being in a space and the purpose of really saying yes to a calling. Even as an immigrant, I was privileged enough to come to New York, go to school, be able to move forward. Immigration was always a part of our being, but the engagement wasn't there. It wasn't until 2015 when I received the first call of people who were coming to the border. And at the time, I remember I just came back.
Mute yourself, please mute yourself. Thank you.
I just came back to South Korea representing Haiti at a major event. I think they had over 4 million people there. And it was such an honor to be able to bring the Haitian flag to South Korea and being a part of that celebration. And upon returning to California, I received a call and said, oh, we have Haitians at the border, and you're the Haitian, you need to come and take care of it. That's basically the message I received. And I did not believe it. And out of curiosity, I said, okay, let me go see what they are talking about. And I drove about an hour and a half from where I live to go to the US-Mexico border, where I met 12 young men and women between the ages of 19 and 24. And my question to them was, what are you doing here? How did you get here? And I always make a joke that we are boat people, right? So as boat people, how did you get here? And they started sharing their stories with me. And that leads us to where we are today. And as Charlotte mentioned, what we saw in the Rio was not something that just happened in September. That is something we as a community have been dealing with for the past 6-7 years now. And understanding the narrative of Black immigrants, we are proof of that, right? We are here, we exist. Immigration is a Black issue. How do we make sure that as we move forward, we center the voices and narratives of Black immigrants, of Haitian immigrants who have always been a fabric of this great United States of ours? From Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sable to all those amazing elected officials like Eunice Ziegler, who are currently with us, that is a testimony of the participation and how the Haitian community has always been a part of the United States. So that is a brief background of who we are as an organization, what we have been pushing through, and how we have been leading the fight on the shoulders of our forefathers, Toussaint Louverture, Gantoria, to make sure that when freedoms ring, it doesn't only ring for just Haitians, but for all people. Because we believe as a community, we must make sure that freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness is afforded for all people, no matter where they are from, no matter the color of their skin. So let me just go back a little bit. Looking into what's happening currently. As of yesterday, under the administration President Biden, unfortunately, we see the continued practice of previous administration. Yesterday, this week alone, 12 deportation flights were sent to Haiti. And people are asking what happened to the people who were under the bridge. 14,000 of them have been deported, 14,000, including pregnant children, pregnant women, children, babies, young men, and women whose lives we could have protected if we as a community understood the power that we yield, understood the power that we have to be able to push for changes, to be able to push for protection, to be able to hold the administration and all people accountable. As we celebrate 1804, as we look into 218 years of freedom fighters, as we look into the new day in 2022, we as the United States of America should not be in a place where racism still guides our principle. So it is time that we come together and make sure that we uplift humanity, make sure that we highlight the voices of people who are in need of protection, and make sure that we center their realities so that together we can be a better place. I believed in the Build Back Better. I believed in saving the soul of America. But what we saw in the Rio, that is the opposite of saving the soul of America. Deportation of pregnant women and babies is the opposite of saving the soul of America. So it is time we continue to hold our elected officials, those who are placed to protect the community and those in need, to make sure this happens so we can together move forward as one. We are looking into all of those different things that are happening. And before, earlier today, we heard the song, the anthem for the Haitian Flag Day. It says, Marchons unis, work united. It is good to sacrifice for the well-being of our countrymen, of our people, of our nation. So the goal is to go back to those very simple words, Marchons unis, working together for the betterment of all people. And also, united, wielding the power we have been given, we have amassed with our coalition people, with our elected officials locally, to make sure that we respond to emergencies, to make sure that we highlight and uplift good. I was talking to a friend earlier today about the death of a dear colleague, Ayiti, and how she showed up every year with her full self, as not only a Haitian American woman, also a Black woman descendant of migrants, of immigrants, and understanding the call to unite. And in honor of Ayiti, we say thank you to each and every one of you who have come together alongside of us to create a better future for all people, no matter your religious belief, no matter your sexual orientation, no matter what your political directions are, our full self, to be giving full rights to be, to exist, and to thrive. Again, thank you so much for having me. L'union fait la force, en pile me chay palou, marchons unis, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Your passion for the work that you're doing radiates through the screen, and you really represent some of the best of us. I think it was so timely for you to join us as we celebrate our Independence Day. Even though we're on Zoom, we're going through so much, and to know that we have Haitians like yourself, Haitian women like yourself, it really embodies, the character of our nation and our culture. So we are also proud of you and so lucky to have your advocacy and your hard work. And thank you for being, just a Haitian woman getting it done. So I think we're all just going to give you another round of applause virtually. And before we get to the next section, which is, we're going to have a small summary of the earthquake relief effort from my father, just on the work that we're doing on collections, disbursements, and next steps. Dad?
Before I get into this, you know that I can't help it. After listening to Geraldine Joseph, as you know, as usual, we have this urge to go back to history and to say that we are now seeing the lineage of Marie-Jeanne Lamartinière, of Dédé Basile, of Sanit Belair, those Haitian heroes who helped bring independence about.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we also connect her? As I was listening to her, I saw the movie Harriet Tubman. Again, this is the same blood, the same passion, the same commitment when we talk about Sanit Belair, Dédé Basile, Marie-Jeanne Lamartinière, or Harriet Tubman. Thank you again for your work, your dedication, and your commitment, Geraldine Joseph. We've seen it. We know it's both mental, it's also physical. I got those multiple texts that are going through WhatsApp asking for Geraldine Joseph to intervene, and you are just one person, although you do have your colleagues and partners. So thank you again. What we wanted to do, if Adam will allow me to quickly share my screen, and I'm also going to ask Caroline Desiree, the Executive Director of AFAB, to really quickly chime in if I'm able to do that. Thank you.
We have some great women on here tonight, Dad, I'm going to say. Carlene, just one of many.
So it's not a formal report, but going through this rapidly, let's remind you that on August 14th of last year, Haitians of the world was once again shocked to hear that there was another devastating earthquake in the southern part of Haiti. Quickly, as a result, we are talking about some 2,300 people who lost their lives. We are talking about close to 12,000, 1.2 million people who were actually homeless because their houses were damaged or just went down. So as everyone was doing some rallying and some supporting, in Massachusetts, we were able to revive a structure that was in place, the Massachusetts Haitian Relief Task Force. And this is in no way a full presentation of all the partners who contributed, but we are going to say that this effort was essentially coordinated by the Haitians American United Inc, Association Femmes Haitiennes de Boston, Haitian Women Association of Boston, and then along with IFC, City of Boston, Haitian Association of Massachusetts, Haitian Media, and several evangelical associations. This is again a small list of about 40 partners or more that came together to do that. This is not, again, not the final, but we can tell you that roughly we've collected so far some $40,000 in terms of donation. We've sent about $1,000 for about 30 organizations, so it's $30,000 for them to address the urgency of people who were wounded, or people who wanted a shelter to stay, people who wanted to get some basic medical care or take care of their children, or people who wanted foods. We also had to incur some expenses to make those things happen. So we will come up with a final, as we are still getting some donations as we speak now in the month of February, but roughly this is to be accountable to what your donations have been about, so you have a feel and a sense for what happened. 30 organizations, again, have received your contribution so far. So those images is just to tell you how it went. It was not just the financial management of things. It was about getting some 5 committees, steering committee, allocation committee, logistical committees, communication committee, collecting boxes and filling some of those trucks to take things to a shipping company so that they can get to Haiti. So just to tell you, some of those things made them to Haiti. You are now a small island of the south coast of Haiti where they were isolated. So those things were put on ships, boats, and then taken to this island to be distributed to the school. Literally, that's what happened. We are talking about also artists, storytellers, musicians who came together to put together some fundraising activities. And I want to mention here our good friend Ella Turen, whom Geraldine Joseph was referring to. She was with us doing this effort, and she passed away, unfortunately, on December 24th. Those people received, again, monies. They were able to buy items to cover their houses. Some of them were able to buy materials, some of them who were handicapped. And without giving you the full list, again, for those of you who are Haitians, qui témoignent sinon que il y a une organisation, tant que Fondation Julia Jardin Jérémy, tant que Health Through Walls, tant que Grand les Anglais, tant que Haiti Global Youth Partnership dans l'asile, Civic Response in Haiti, Organisation Femmes Tifet dans Torbec, Organisation Développement Sanal l'asile dans l'asile, Organisation Pêcheurs de Grand Boucan dans Petite Codony, Organisation pour servir communauté au SEC, etc. Again, this is to tell you that yes, those organizations did get the funding that you sent, and then they made good use of it, and they sent reports or pictures so that we can report to you some of the information. I'm going to stop sharing. Carlin Sola, est-ce qu'on gagne un petit commentaire des cafés? We are talking about to Carlin Desiré, the Executive Director of Haitian Women Association of Boston. Carlin.
Bonsoir, Shalom. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say that it's been just amazing in terms of the community coming together to make this happen, as we have had a history of doing so. not only the Haitian parade, but so many relief efforts. So I want to say it's been such a true pleasure working with everyone on the team. I'm not going to mention all the organizations, but it took a lot of effort from a lot of people. But I'll mention Woodney. We thank you so much for all your contribution and all the other people, okay? And we will continue to work together because we know what's happening right now in Mexico is just inhuman, what we see happening to our folks. And I want to say Tela Chalpu, you know which city I'm referring to, right? I may be mispronouncing it. So let me stop there and hoping we continue to fight the good fight to ensure that they respect our rights all over, not only in Haiti, in the US, all over the globe. The fight continues.
Merci encore. Vous avez fait travail ça pour nous dans non City Hall, municipalité de Boston. Woodney, thanks again for all your dedication and for also putting together this website. If you don't mind sending it or sharing it so people can see what has been done, and if they are so kind to continue contributing, great, why not? Donc, nous allons demander à Woodney de mettre encore une fois site web là pour Task Force là, pour mon travail qui a été fait. Malika, how are we doing in terms of time and what's next?
Time is going great. Thank you again, Rudney, another great woman of our community doing important work on behalf of the Haitian community here in Boston. And next up, we do have our Heroes in Independence video from Junior. If we can play that now, that'd be wonderful.
Adam Sougen, Malaika, quand même pas l'écrire là, attendez la prochaine.
Oh, please.
For more than a week, the island nation of Haiti has been rocked by street violence as protesters, angry over soaring inflation and government corruption, have demanded the ouster of President Jovenel Moïse.
L'Éternel, Haïti na main. Chaque jour c'est une seule parole. Haïti bagaille au pitol. Bagay l'amour à charité. C'est problème sous problème. Haïtien encore les épaules. Pour payer une 4 football. N'a suspend près déception. Pas bien c'est en bonne nation. Besoin de changement. Pour Haïti pays non. C'est pas même pas ensemble. Pays avec des mal. Nous besoin de changement. Pour Haïti pays non. C'est pas même pas ensemble. Pays avec des mal. Yo t'es rené la perle des Antilles. Tellement Haïti était belle. Pays à vie n'est pas fini. Tout le monde a vivre dans menti. Si tout Haïtien te prend conscience, Haïti t'a gagné une petite chance. Nous toujours sous contrainte de puissance. Nous toujours à vivre dans la souffrance. Pour Haïti pays non. C'est pas même pas ensemble. Pays avec des mal. Nous besoin de changement. Pour Haïti pays non. C'est pas même pas ensemble. Pays avec des mal. disait, espoir sous international, c'est plus mal, nous vivons plus mal. Si nous pas faire action, nous pas jamais qu'à jouer une solution. C'est pas qui t'a pas mon opinion, sans jet de fils, nous c'est l'union. Qui ça va pas causer dit? Les amis qui des bons Dieu forts, priez pour Haïti. Oui. Mes amis, mes amis, mes amis. Heureux l'homme qui cherche à l'éternel sans refuge. Au chant pour Haïti. Saint-Marc-Gonaï, capote de paix, moun Ejmi Balais, Haïtien de Port-au-Prince, Tigua, Grand-Gua, Jacqueline Okai, Jérémy Île-de-la-Ville, New York, Boston, Miami, Canada, la France et les Antilles, les amis, pas mal des Haïti café pour Allemagne, qui ça café pour Haïti.
Wow, that was a great video. Another awesome music selection to get me right in the mood. Excited for the next time that we can all come together in person for our Independence Day Gala. How about you, Dad?
Well, we should mention that this is with our Marius, radio host extraordinaire in the community. And also, by the way, the father of Carolina, who was there at the beginning for the two national anthems.
Correct. And for those of you who don't know, my dad is a great dancer. So you should use that as a little motivation to get you through to the next Independence Day Gala.
All right, let's check this out and let's share something else. For those of you who might not be familiar with Haitian music, the beat that you're listening to is called Haitian Compa, which is now actually embracing a number of different kind of topics. Now, Sinako, what else do we have, Malaika, next?
So the next up, we are going to have Pastor Kiki join us to hand out some of our awards for this year's award ceremony recipients. Pastor Kiki, if you could join us and unmute yourself, please.
And let me say on behalf of HAU, these awards are by no way a full representation of the number of people and partners that HAU intend and always want to be able to acknowledge. It's just a symbol, it's symbolic. Pastor Kiki. Yes,
okay. Thank you so much. It's so much undertaken to this night. We are so delighted to have all of you with us, and thank you also to our partners as well as our elected officials. We'd like to welcome Caribbean Cultural Authentic, our friend Mike Sharp, always with us. We also have Equity Now and Beyond with the Latinos, Alpha, Acedon, CSIO, as well as Brazilian Women's Coalition with us. We thank them for being with us, as well as Mira Coalition. So many friends that we have. So our first award, Charlotte, we have so many to give out tonight, and we are so delighted to do so. And so thankful for the tremendous and positive contribution to Haitians here and abroad. The first one will go to State Senator Nick Collins, I'm receiving the information from my founder, from my boss, Wilner August, who's directing me on the phone. Haitians American United Incorporated, presented to Massachusetts State Senator Nick Collins for your steadfast commitment to improving the well-being of the Haitian American community of Massachusetts. January 8, 2022, given this day on our 23rd annual Haitian Independence Day gala. Unfortunately, I don't have the award with me, but I'm sure that someone can. Leo, do you have that?
Because you will there for montrer.
All right. So while Wilner is getting ready to show that, let's introduce to you State Senator Nick Collins. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Kiki, and good evening. Thank you to Charlo and Malika for hosting this event. Everyone at the Haitian Americans United, congratulations to the other awardees and some of my colleagues that spoke before. It's an honor to serve in the Massachusetts Senate. We agree here in Massachusetts, particularly with the Haitian community from the beginning of independence. As many of you know, our senator here in Massachusetts, Charles Sumner, led the fight here in the United States to recognize Haitians in the Haiti's independence. Something that I learned more recently doing some research was that the Massachusetts legislature was very, very involved in that. And this is how. At that time in our nation's election system, our U.S. senators were elected by state legislators on a simple majority. So it was Massachusetts legislature, both the House of Representatives and the Senate, that voted to install Charles Sumner to represent us. And they knew quite well the type of advocacy that he would provide as a leading abolitionist voice here in Massachusetts. And that legacy continues with the third largest Haitian American population inside the United States here in Massachusetts, with great leaders, former Representative Marie St. Fleur and former Senator Linda Fori, Councilor Natasha Clerget, City Councilors Lucy Lucien, along with City Councilor Zeigler from Methuen, and so many more leaders here in Massachusetts, and colleagues of mine in the legislature that have really come together in this moment of crisis. But I'm proud of the representation in my office from the first day in the Senate. I've had strong representation from the Haitian community in my office, from Katia to Molly to Jordan to Leon, and many of you have worked with quite regularly. And that informs the decisions that we make. So ensuring that HAU was a critical partner early on in the work we were doing during the United States Census effort, when Charlotte, and then pre-pandemic with Charlotte and the Artists Assembly having them display their art for the first time at our state's capital, to what's before us today, when we heard from community leaders and some on this call that this crisis was growing and it was going to find its way here in Massachusetts, and more families, our brothers and sisters, and quite frankly, brothers and sisters of our constituents and relatives that were that had endured great suffering to get here to the United States. So I want to thank my colleague, Senator Brandy Fluker-Oakley, who led the way in the House of Representatives to file an amendment to support the Haitian migrants, $8 million. It didn't make it in the first go around, but it woke everybody up to what we need to do with some of the turbulence in Washington. And so I'm proud that we in the Senate, when we came together to speak about that piece of legislation, that I took the floor in our caucus, supported by Senator Adam Gomez, Senator Michael Brady, and Senator Sal DiDomenico, to ensure that we knew coming out of this legislation, we needed funding to support the families, and we needed to go directly to the community. And Dr. Gabon and I have spoken about this. Typically, when state gets involved in funding efforts, it goes to a bid process, and that would have taken too long. It's already taking too long. So assigning it right to the community was really important, and having the support of members of my caucus outside of Boston supporting this effort for a program in Boston to really take on this important work that they've already been doing that needs support. So that funding that we got in the ARPA bill, $8 million for the Haitian migrant crisis, is the most significant earmark that I've gotten in my entire career. So I'm very proud of that work. And I want to thank my colleagues for supporting it. I thank the city of Boston for stepping up early with resources. And we know that that effort needs to continue. And so as we talk about infrastructure and how we can continue to support families, get on a path, a sustainable path, while the Haitian community is taking on this burden, we need to step in. So I'm honored to receive this award tonight. I want to share it with my staff and my team who really, work hard every day to represent us and represent you, and try to get both the big work done and the small work done. So with that, happy Independence Day. Sorry we couldn't be in person this year. We hope to do that soon. And of course, Happy New Year to you all.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Senator Nick Collins. It takes many of them. We will have definitely to call upon. You mentioned Senator Gomez, who fought very hard for us. But I have another friend, Haitian friends, that I call him a Haitian because anytime I called him, I have his cell phone. He replied back to me and he said, well, I'm going to stand with you. And it's a pleasure for me to give this award from Haitian Americans United Incorporated to Massachusetts Senator Michael Brady for his leadership and his sustained advocacy to the cause of the Haitian American community of Massachusetts. Thank you so much, Senator Michael.
Thank you very much, Pastor Kiki, and thank you to everybody who's on the virtual meeting tonight. I know it's more difficult not meeting in person, but I'm very honored to represent a large population of Haitian friends and residents in the city of Brockton and also in the town of Randolph, which I will be taking over with redistricting. But I was grateful to work with Senator Collins, Senator Sal DiDomenico in the leadership in the Senate, Mike Rodrigues, the Ways and Means Chair, and the Senate President Karen Spilka to help get that $8 million for Haitian earthquake refugees. As we know, people are still suffering from the first earthquake several years ago, never mind the second earthquake. And, it's not in the media and the headlines of the news anymore, but people are suffering greatly. And I was also very grateful to get some funding, $100,000 for Haitian community partners. So we are working diligently together with all of our partners in the state Senate and the House of Representatives to do what we can to provide funding and relief for so many families. We were also able to get economic recovery for vulnerable families, $510,000. This is a pilot program to help families in the medical field to get training, to get better jobs too, not just for nurses, but everybody in the medical field. And School on Wheels, that helps provide funding for food for those families in need as well. So I'm very grateful to be a partner with my colleagues in the Senate and our good friends, and anything that we can do to help out, please don't hesitate to contact us. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this state Senate that works very well together. Unlike what you may hear in the news with people in government not getting along, fighting, we work very well together, Democrats and Republicans in the state Senate, as well as the House of Representatives. And like anybody, you have to work together to get things done. So I'm grateful for all our partners within the Haitian community as well. And it's up to you, as you know, you give us the information and you are all on the front lines, so we can help deliver that at the state level. So God bless you all. Happy Independence Day and a happy and healthy New Year to everyone.
Thank you so very much, Senator Brady, for your leadership and your just expectation of what Haiti can do and Haitians can do in Massachusetts. Then I have another senator who always stand with us. I'm going to defer to my colleague, Pastor Reverend Milland. Could you introduce for us Senator Sal DiDomenico? We couldn't get Reverend Milland. Reverend Milland.
You're on mute. Okay, now you can speak.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir à tous. Joyeuse fête de l'indépendance. Happy Independence Day. I'm very glad that I have this opportunity to be here. And I want to I know that the protocol is that Pastor Fleurissin, the chairman of the board, will introduce all the awardees and the senators. And I appreciate it so much, very humble for giving me this opportunity to introduce my senator, your senator, because he doesn't not only represent Everett, Chelsea, and other spots, but also part of Boston. And sometimes people don't recognize that and like to mention that. It is a great honor to do that. I'm taking the time to do this as I am in a retreat. That's why people have not heard from me much lately. I'm in ecclesiastical retreat, pastoral retreat in actually Austria. So tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, I should be, almost 5 o'clock in the morning, I will have to be meeting with prayer and shut down again up until next week. So I appreciate that I take this time to do this. And so Senator Sal DiDomenico, who always asks people to just call him Sal, one of the most humble public official that I have met in my entire time, since many of you have known me as a young woman working in community, has worked tirelessly, not only to fight for the betterment of children and families in general, but also the Haitian community in Everett and the small pocket of Haitians growing now in Chelsea, in Brighton, and in so many parts now of the state, even communities that are not part of his district have now benefited from his honesty, not only his hard work, but also because he has been a friend to our community. So it is an honor to present him tonight as he receives this award from the HAU, not only for his commitment, but also for his outstanding service to our community, fighting, and for the many policies that he has fought along with his colleagues on behalf of the communities at large, inclusively communities of color and the Haitian people. So it is my honor to present to you my senator, Sal DiDomenico, your senator.
Thank you, Reverend Milan. And I don't know if I can top that. I appreciate you coming in from so far away to say those very kind words. And you know how I feel about you and the Everett Haitian Community Center. My very, very close friends. We're very like family to me. I appreciate that introduction. Bonsoir, everyone. And I want to thank you for this very big honor. Something that I was surprised when Reverend Melanie gave me a call to tell me I'll be receiving tonight. But I want to thank you and thank Reverend Pastor Kiki and the Haitian American United organization and all of you for all that you do every single day. I want to also congratulate my colleagues, Senator Collins, Senator Brady, Councilor Rosie Lugienne, and also Geraldine Joseph, our keynote speaker who's been recognized. I'm sorry, Geraldine Joseph has been recognized today as well. But I also want to just recognize all of you, because we get these awards and people think that, sometimes we do it alone. And I can tell you that we have an army behind us. And the work is done by all of you in the community. And we support you because of the great work that you do and the amazing contributions that you do and give back to our cities and towns. And when we heard of the plight and the need for resources for migrants who were relocated to our state, I want to thank our Senate President and our Chair Ways and Means and our colleagues in the Senate, led by Nick Collins and Michael Brady and also Adam Gomez and myself, that heard that call and understood the need and so that, you know, the resources that we need, and not just a little, but substantial. And they came through with that, with the urging and encouragement and advocacy of all of you as well. And the Haitian American people are kind, compassionate people who give back in so many ways. And, you know, I see it in my own community. When there is a need, when there is help to be had, our Haitian American organizations and Haitian American residents stand up and always deliver, and always want to make sure that everyone around them rises up, not just them. And that is a unique quality. That's a very unique quality that I have found, and in politics in particular, when I go around to different communities in different states and see what's happening, that we really have something good in our own backyard that's been working hard as a team to get a lot accomplished. My hearts and thoughts are with the people of Haiti as well, and many of your family members who are there today going through very difficult circumstances. And it's my pleasure to be recognized with so many of the great groups and organizations as well. Again, I mentioned my good friends at Haitian Community Center, but also Mira, who works very hard every day on immigrant issues and really pushes the needle and make sure we don't forget that we need help in our communities, and also the Immigrant Family Service Institute, and also the Association of Haitian Women in Boston. All great community groups that do great work. So thank you very much for this honor. I appreciate it, and thank you for being a kind friend to me and my family as well.
Thank you so much. Heartfelt gratitude to you, Senator Sal, as you would like to be called. Very simple for your leadership and your steadfast commitment in assisting and supporting the Haitian community from HAU on this day, January 8th, 2022. Thank you so very much. We just have to give many other awards to the House also, but we're going to leave those for later. We have State Rep Oakley, who did a tremendous job bringing the narrative to the House at first before we can move to the Senate. Thank you so much, Rep Oakley and Rep Consalvo, for your leadership. Now we're going to recognize and acknowledge the great work that our keynote speaker has been doing, as you heard that, and she continued to do. We're going to stay in touch to making sure that Haitian families remain in the country, can be released from ICE detention centers, and those who are released to be granted provisional relief, such as extension of TPS or parole, for them to rebuild their lives in the country. So again, Ms. Gallin, thank you so much for your steadfast commitment to improving the well-being of Haitian immigrants in the US, and your leadership as a dedicated human rights advocate from HAU, given on January 8, 2022. And your name is first on my list of prayer that I have to do every day.
Wow, I don't have the words, honestly. I did not expect this honor, and this has indeed been the greatest honor to receive from my community, and alongside those who are leading the fight, being the also making sure that my community, and alongside and really pushing forward. As I received this award on behalf of the amazing team at the Haitian Ridge Alliance, who have been on the ground 24/7, literally haven't slept for the past 4 years, for the past 7 years, but also each and every Haitians who are under the bridge. Some of them are still in detention. Yesterday, we paid bond for 7 people who were under the bridge. Over $70,000 we paid yesterday to get people released. But this is for my sisters and brothers whose faces I saw under the bridge, whose faces that I saw my faces in their faces. When I was looking at them, I was looking at myself. And that is the reality. To those young babies, children whose lives have been deterred, we stand undeterred in the fight with them. So as I accept this great honor, my call to action is to the community, Friends of Haiti, the elected officials who are currently on this call. Please, let's put our hands together to make sure that people are protected. I'm calling on the elected officials to make your voices heard on behalf of immigrants and migrants, to center the voices of the Haitians in the community as you continue to receive them in your cities. But please, it is time for us, from the local elected officials to Congress, to say enough is enough. Deportations of vulnerable people must be stopped. We must hold our president accountable so that we can change the course and create a safe space for people. So as we move forward, again, thank you so much. I am so grateful and honored to be with each and one of you today. Merci beaucoup.
Merci un pile pour courage, Gerlin. La continuer le travail. We'd like also to thank Hannah Heffer from Boston Immigrant Justice Accompaniment, NUCC. And also a great shout out to Rev. Elizabeth Buffington Guyen. Gerlin, they paid $9,500 for a young man 2 weeks ago to get out of ICE detention center. Hat off to those people who stand with us. Thank you so much. Then we have the pleasure of welcoming and give this award from Haitian American United Incorporated to our first Haitian American elected councilor at large for the great city of Boston. I've heard Mayor Monday from the inauguration saying that's 200 years the Boston government has been established. Never had just a Haitian woman in City Hall. Now we are so grateful to God for making it possible to have the first Haitian councilor at large with the region. I call her my daughter.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kiki. Merci un pile. Jean, Pastor Kiki fait dit, c'est deuxième papam. Donc, you know, when your father's talking about you, got to take all the compliments with a grain of salt. But I am just so grateful. So I say thank you so much. Bonne année. Bonne fête d'indépendance. This is my favorite. Haitian Independence Day is my favorite holiday. It is my favorite time of the year, celebrating with all of you, whether at Lombardo, celebrating with my father, Robert, celebrating eating subjumu and more subjumu. I just got subjumu delivered to my home today, and I'm going to be eating it for the next week. So I am just so happy and so thrilled. You know, I ran for Boston City Council at large. Obviously, there's never been a Haitian person. City Council, I have had the privilege and the honor when I was 16 years old to intern for our first Haitian elected in Massachusetts, the Honorable former State Representative Marie St. Fleur, who was the first out there, courageous with me, standing in the battle, advising me along the way, along with our great senator, former Senator Linda Dorsenafore. So I am the first on the city council, but I stand in this trajectory of brave, amazing Haitian women who have come before me to stand loudly and clearly for our people and to show up. So I am humbled to be here. I will tell you that, you know, parce que papa m'fait m'parle m'te petit, li fèm li ti malis, bouki, c'est que ça m'parle lili, même toujours dit, même le lang la lou, lang la la. Even when my tongue and crowl is heavy, the tongue is there, right? And so something that the Haitian community taught me during this race was, oh, ça y est, not voyo monte. I had never heard that phrase before, not voyo monte. And it's really the Haitian community qui voye monte. That means when I would meet Haitian people, they would tell me, and I would tell them I was running, they would say, oh, you're Haitian? We're going to send you up. Don't worry, we're going to send you up. And the Haitian community in Boston really did send me up. So I hope to do right by each and every one of you. Gerline, hearing you tonight was amazing. And it is our duty to stand in the gap for our people who are coming here to live out the promise of what this country promises us. To demand that the Biden administration, which is going to ask for our votes in 2 years, that they end Title 42. And they are not doing right by us, and they're not doing right by our people. And so we have to remember that in 2 years when they ask us for our votes, right? What have you done for our people? I want to thank so many people here on this call, the brave Dr. Gabo at IFC, Carlene over at AFAB, Reverend Deosier over in Everett, all of the work. I see Andrew Sharp, a friend of the community, Pastor Kiki, all the work that everyone is doing to get our people vaccinated, to make sure that we are not left behind. I see Angela, Miss Nicholas, who's my teacher in elementary school, is on this call. Right, when I talk about this is family and this is community, it very much is. So I thank all of you for what you have done. And, you know, I was inaugurated on Monday. I've been on the job for 6 days now. I think this is my first official act. It's to present the Haitian Americans United with a citation from the City Council. So I'm so excited that this is my first act. And it reads, the City of Boston City Council official resolution. Be it resolved that the Boston City Council extended its congratulations to Haitian Americans United Inc. in recognition of the 23rd annual Haitian Independence Day Gala. And be it further resolved that the Boston City Council extends its best wishes for continued success, that the resolution be duly signed by the President of the City Council and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the clerk at the City of Boston. By Edward M. Flynn, President of the City Council, attested to by Maureen Feeney, Clerk of the City of Boston, and offered by your daughter, Ruthie Lee Jen, City Councilor at Large. Again, it is an honor to be able to do this for my community, right? Haiti we offered so much to the world when it comes to the American Revolution. Our people were down in Savannah, making sure that this country was able to get free. And so when I talk about the work that we have to do, we need to move beyond being just a symbol and be a country that is able to fully care for and live up to its creed and the promise that is offered as the only nation in the world to be created out of the slave rebellion. So we have a lot of work to do to live up to our promise, and so many people on this call are doing that. Nous faisons ça chaque jour. Toujours dit que c'est sans tout c'est l'ouverture qui coule qui n'ensemble, right? And it is that reminder that tout c'est l'ouverture and what he did and what we did as a people for 13 years to fend off a world power. That means that we can do the impossible. We have to believe in each other and our communities, and we have to stand together. So thank you so much for this honor. I can't wait to give this to you in person. Thank you for standing with me, hold me accountable. I will be there to do the work for our people and to the work for all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ruthie, in appreciation of your historical achievement in becoming the first Haitian American City Councilor at Large.
And I want to thank Malika because this was my first official act, and she knows all things about City Hall. So Charlotte, you did a good job with your daughter. She helped me figure out how to get this done. So Malika and Charlotte, thank you so much.
We're very, very proud of you, Ruthie.
Thank you so much. We couldn't get anything accomplished without elected officials, but without also allies, friends who understand our struggles, and they can create trouble also to making sure that this act, the Haitian Migrant Resettlement Act, did pass in the Senate. And we mentioning that to you. Peut-être ou capable pas connaître le gros travail qui fait, un pile travail fait dans Chambre des députés, un pile travail fait avec elected officials, but more work has been done also through our partner. And one of the partners we recognize tonight is the Massachusetts Immigrant Refugee Advocacy Coalition called MIRA. We thank them so much, and we have many of them who are here with us. Amy, I don't know who's going to be talking, Amy or Jessica or Javier or Joel, who's going to first receive the award and speak on behalf of MIRA.
I'm happy to speak on behalf of my organization. Oops. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly done.
Thank you so much, Pastor Kiki, for this honor, which I'm really humbled to accept on behalf of the MIRA Coalition. we know that a coalition is only as good as its member organization. So I'd like to thank Haitian Americans United and Immigrant Family Services Institute for giving us the opportunity to do what Mira really does best, which is to collaborate with our grassroots members to do what really none of us can do alone. And it's been said already tonight, and it's important to say again that you are the ones doing the critical work on the ground 24/7, and we rely on you to guide our advocacy efforts, to be our eyes and ears, to guide our efforts with our allies in the State House who are here with us tonight, and it's a pleasure to be joined with them tonight. It's a privilege there as well. And I just want to say it was and remains always a joy and a privilege to work with all of you and to be part of the collective effort to get funding to Haitian migrants that we were able to do at the end of the year. And I also want to acknowledge the board and staff of my incredible organization represented here today by our board president, John Wilshire Carrera, with Nancy Kelly, and my wonderful Mira colleagues that you mentioned, Christine, Jessica, Rasha. I think Javier was on earlier. Wave, my friends, to the audience so that people can see you. We all of us look forward to our continued work with you in the months and years to come. Happy Independence Day, and thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you so very much, Amy. And I'm just driving Jessica crazy every minute. I have questions on immigrations, and I'm calling her. People couldn't get their immigration papers renewed. They're almost losing their jobs, and I have to call on her to help me just for those people to keep their work. I'm asking you for your patience again. You know, it's a collective fruit of the spirit. We are running out of time. Please stand with us. We have about 3 more awards to give. And I would like you to hear also the testimonial of one of the migrants who arrived, because we're doing this also for them. Dr. Gabo?
Thank you, Pastor Kiki, and thank you to every single one of you. You know who you are for all your hard work and your advocacy. Again, we are in this together. And Amy, you know how I feel about you, Jessica, and all of the Mira members. I'm telling you, you are great warriors, and we are so proud to have you, to count with you as partners. And to all the senators who have been fighting alongside, I just want to say thank you so much. So quickly, because I know that it's all about, you know, our Haitian and our migrants, we have Jerry, who is here in only 1 minute. Is going to say a few things because I know that we are running out of time. Jerry, ou pour aller dans 1 minute et demie, ou pour aller faire un petit partager avec audience là et comment on te fait arriver par bord ici, misère t'est passé, mais on va obligé raccourcir parce que nous pas gagner plus de temps et puis après Pastor Kiki va traduire. So Jerry will say a few words in Haitian and Pastor Kiki will translate. What's your mute, Jerry? Jerry, what's your mute?
Moi, salut spécialement Dr. Gabo et salutations à vous tous. Et c'est un réel plaisir d'être ici avec nous. Et non pas M. Anglade Domigenson. Raison qui fait là ensemble avec nous, c'est pour me parler de nous. N'oublie pas, c'est moi, je suis immigrant. Ok, moi, passé par Texas et pour me venir là. Et parcours, il est vraiment difficile pour famille et pour moi. Et de Chili à Boston, dans Massachusetts, il est nettement difficile pour me dériver là. Et vous imaginez sauter Chili et pour m'entrer, pour me faire passer 12 pays, des 12 pays pour m'arriver Mexique pour m'entrer en bas pour Texas là. Et les m'arriver en bas pour Texas encore, c'est une catastrophe, misère. Et vent, poussière, humiliation, pas dit ça tout, parce que nous pas de bon traitement, ou nous avons petit monde mais nous qui pas joindre soin, ok, qui pas joindre rien pour manger, seulement un petit pain avec un petit de l'eau, maman seulement qu'à manger, m'obligé by maman plaisir pain pour le gagner assez force pour le bâtir mon entité. Et ça pour désastre là était vraiment difficile, nous pas gain de pour nous dormir. et on nous coucher sous zebla comme ça. C'est dernière minute je me aller en bas pont, je me aller fermer en même, moi si joindre yon tente pour me dormir à ti moun là. Je l'ai arrivé encore et mal fermé, en dedans côté mal fermé hein, c'est Freddy en dedans vraiment fait fret et pas de gain manger pour ti moun encore nous fait 7 jours et fermé en côté nous pas ouais nous pas accès à rien même bien depuis on fait 7 jours sans bien sans ouvrir bouche et yo vraiment il m'a parlé de l'histoire ça vraiment touché parce que nous avons un même madame même pour traitement ça et il y a une jeune qui est vraiment difficile pour nous et les nous arrivés nous faire 7 jours sur 7e jour nous laguer nous aller KPA et KPA encore et puis nous entrer là c'est tout pas trop parler mais il y a plus de bagages plus de mise en place juste pas aller trop long pour passer son minute de bon moi chef monté bon
on juste faut parler de arriver ici comment ça
arrivé là encore Boston moi rencontré avec une organisation qui c'est IFSI m'a dit c'est là me prend refuge moi me dit bon Dieu béni tout staff ici hein, pour votre travail à faire dans la cour Boston dans Massachusetts moi arrivé dans IFSI moi joindre directrice moi docteur Gabo qui recevoir nous avec Miss Tali qui recevoir nous avec elle qui prend soin nous une petite moi madame moi qui prend soin nous et bah nous tout bagage logement manger pour juste qu'on y a service immigrant ça bon manger il prend soin pour juste qu'on y a caille moins encore moins jeune traitement bon traitement là-dedans cabane petit moi dormi bien madame moi dormi bien et manger tout bagage moi remercie staff immigrant ça qui c'est ici qui ba nous bon service cap traiter immigrant yo bien faire sentir toute misère ça ou te passe là li pas rien yo jeune réfugié et gen pile qui derrière toujours qu'a demander information de ici pour gens et tout le monde qui passait il a dit mon bon traitement mais comment traiter moi féliciter encore à toute sa science spécialement pasteur qui toujours là pour nous pour qui aider nous des conseils qui a fait autant ça avec nous parce que nous gagnons rendez-vous c'est les cap dans notre direction docteur Gabo encore qui toujours là li mettre chaud pour nous un bon traitement docteur Gabo me souhaite bon Dieu bénou pour bon travail que n'a fait me senti pour moi me senti mon toute humiliation ça me prend me pas gagner encore parce que jeune réfugié qui c'est ici merci à nous tous.
All right. The trajectory was so difficult from Chile to the borders of Mexico, went to 12 countries before we get to Mexico, and then made it to Texas under the bridge. The treatment was critical, terrible, inhuman that we had received. We spent 7 days with no bathing, no brushing our teeth, and then being really humiliated under the bridge. We had to sleep on the grass for many days. And then just going through this difficult situation without food rationing, no food for my child, no food for my wife. It was very difficult for us, but we thank God when we got to Boston, we were warmly welcomed by Immigrant Family Service Institute, and I can consider that as a refuge center for us. So we were not only warmly welcome, but also we are given everything we need to make our life better. So we have food, we find housing, and we find clothing, and we are having great food on a daily basis and great accommodations. And then everyone is asking us, how do we do? We thank God for Dr. Gabo for the work that she's doing to accommodate not only many families of us, but also many of them who are coming could definitely find a refuge within Immigrant Family Service Institute. Thank you so very much. Right, just in a nutshell, just give you
thank you so very much, Pastor Fleurissin. What you are saying here is a fine presentation of who we are. Now, we are going to continue the program. Malaika, how are we doing with time?
We're running up a little on time, so we're going to have to speed through the next couple sections.
We have 3 other awards. You told me
Correct.
to go straight quickly.
let's go straight through them. That sounds wonderful.
I'm going to quickly of them. So you heard from another pioneer, Haitian Women Association, Colleen Desiree, a great woman, and we are so grateful for their work. More than 30 years defending the cause of not only battered women, Haitian women, but also as well as men. So it's a pleasure to introduce to you again and to give this award from Haitian American United to Massachusetts Haitian Women, Colleen Desiree.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everyone. We want to say congratulations to HAU for 23 years of keeping our Haitian culture alive in Massachusetts. Just to say that the Association of Haitian Women not only work with battered women, we work with families, we have a housing project, et cetera, but tonight, we don't have much time. We want to say last October, the theme for our event was providing a foundation of hope during uncertain times. So today, we still have a lot of challenges in Mexico. So the hope is for all of us to work collaboratively, to organize, to bring relief to our Haitian brothers and sisters in Tapachula, Mexico, and so many other towns in Mexico throughout the Central and South America, where they continue to face a lot of challenges. But we want to say that it's a must. Woodsie, thank you so much for what you said. And we thank you because you're there. It's a must not only for the Haitian organizations to act collaboratively, but we also need individual brothers and sisters who want to really embrace the cause. And we need to not only live, but we have to work towards immigration change policies for our brothers and sisters. Thank you. And we want to say congratulations to every awardees, and HAU, keep up the good work. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much, Colleen, for your leadership at the head of the Haitian Women Association from HAU January 8, 2022. Heartfelt gratitude for your work. We're moving along very well. So we have, you heard also from Reverend Milan Deroger, who is in a sabbatical leave. And then HAU is so grateful to the work of Everett Haitian Community Center for their sustained assistance to immigrants and their dedication to the Massachusetts Haitian American community. Reverend Deroger? It's probably too early. She probably couldn't.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Pastor KK. It is really an honor on behalf of the Haitian Community Center in Everett to receive this award. As I always say, it's, to the work that we do, we don't do it alone. It takes all of you. We're able to do that because of your support. And I want to thank the HAU. I want to first congratulate, all the recipients this evening, for me this morning, who embrace this fight together. And I also want to thank the HAU, and especially also chapeau bas to Monsieur Wilner Auguste, who I've mentioned also is the father of this community as well, who has embraced everyone, who embraced me when I was very young, 19 years old, in this community, and coming into this community, starting with Télé Créole. So this work is not something that, whatever that we do at EHEC, although we may be in the forefront, but it takes an army. I want to thank IFC, Dr. Gabo, especially in the work of COVID-19. We've always mentioned it. When COVID-19 did strike, and the Everett Haitian Community Center sent on SOS, And we had so many public officials and members in the community coming into that SOS, that first Zoom. That was the first SOS in the community. Our senator was there as well. But we mentioned that the very first support, very first check that came to support the community in Everett, Chelsea, and around the North Shore came from EFC as a seed. Dr. Gabo, my friend, my sister, something that we always say, that as we ask for support from our public officials, support from folks outside of our communities who make policies and who also and organizations, but it has to start with us. It has to start with us, as it was said before, being united. So I congratulate all of you and congratulate also Dr. Gabo, DHEU, and also congratulate everyone who came together for this. And also again, my colleague, Pastor KK, Charlo, an old friend, also a mentor, a friend and a mentor of mine. Now, thank you for all that you do. And I look forward to continue working with you. Ninot was here. I don't see her anymore. Thank you, Ninot, who has been with the HCC since the beginning. It seems like we've been here forever. We're only going to celebrate our 7th year. I've been here a long time. I'm old, but EHCC has not been here that long, although it appears that we've been here for a very, very long time. But it's only been possible because of you. And as Jesus said in the Beatitude, in the Sermon of the Month, in Matthew 5:12, as we appreciate this this honor, and especially when it comes from our own community, from our own, we receive many, but when it comes from our own peers and our own community, it says a lot. It says a lot. And so we appreciate that. But we know all of you, not only HCC, but all of you tonight, but know that continue to do what you do just because it's important to do, just because we have to do it, we must do it. But know, as Jesus said, that the reward is from heaven. It will be in heaven. Thank you and good night to everyone and congratulations. Thank you, HAU.
Thank you so much, Reverend DeRosier, for your tireless just work into our community. While we have the last now, we're going to introduce to you a combatant, but would like to thank some of the organizations. Brian Concanon, thank you from Institute to Justice and Democracy in Haiti with Steve Forrester doing a great work, bringing out at the forefront all the flights that are leaving United States to Haiti on a daily basis, which we won't see that on cables, but thank you, Institute for Justice and Steve and Brian for the work that you do. Definitely thank you. We have to take also MCAN, Fifth in Action International also, GBIO, all the great organizations standing with us. But, you know, I have a combatant. This person, you know, this Haitian woman, just sometimes we forget she is a mother, understand that she is a wife, understand she has children to care of, she has to cook, but she spent 24/7 taking care of migrants. I just don't understand what she's doing. And every meeting that she goes, I mean, she forget herself and she is advocating for Haitians today. Haitians are people too. They are families. They should be treated with dignity, with respect, and they need all the resources they want. And let me introduce to you, I don't have any time basically to talk about her, none other than Dr. Gerald Gabo from Immigrant Family Services Institute.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Kiki. And thank you. I mean, the only thing that I could say now is simply thank you to each and every one of you. You know who you are. You know what you have done. And again, as I always said, that everything that we have been doing, over 600 families, over 2,000 individuals, 44 pregnant women, 150 children under the age of 5 who have all those every day, working with so many different organizations, partnering with the city of Boston, with MIRA, working with the senators, leaders, community leaders who have been with us, bringing food, shoes, clothes, everything to help us make a difference, to remind the migrant that they are not alone, that we are in this together. And after all they've gone through, for them to feel at least that there is some respect, some dignity for them. It's all about working for human dignity. It's all about giving them a chance to know that there are other people who care about them. So that's the work that we do every day with all of you. And I am forever grateful for your love, your support, your advocacy, just name it, your leadership, for everything that you are forever grateful. And every time when we hear the migrants saying that, at least we find a place, at least we find people who care for us, who understand us, this makes our life better, because at the end of the day, it's all about the impact. It's all about what we have done for those who have been around us and who needed us. So anything that we can do to help, let's continue to do it. And I'm forever grateful to all of you for giving us this opportunity to make the difference. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's all about us. It's for all of you. I share it with all of you. And Pastor Kiki, you know you are my combatant. We work together, so there is no word. So this is something that we share together. And Amy, you know, we're going to have a special party together. So thank you, everyone, for everything that you have done, and for your support and for your love. I could not have done it without you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your sustained assistance to immigrants and your dedication also to the Massachusetts Haitian American community. Just a few other organizations would like just to acknowledge the Massachusetts Council of Churches. Reverend Laura, thank you so much. Catholic Charities, Father Jerry. Thank you. GBLS, Naomi. Thank you. Lawyers for Civil Rights. Ivan, thank you so much. Ryan, Ronnie Miller, and Mass Laurie from Institute to Margot, talking about just Iris. I got so many, and also Office of Immigrant Advancement, the whole staff doing a great job, Yusufi Valley. And thank you so much, City of Boston, State of Massachusetts. Thank you. You know, you are our allies, our partners. You keep us in this fight. Thank you so very much. Charlotte?
From what I heard here, we are reminded that Haiti is not just a country, not just a territory, not just a nation. It's an idea. It's a concept. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why, because you cannot kill or destroy an idea or a concept. That's the only reason why, for 218 years, we've sustained invasion, earthquake, all kind of environmental damage, and we are still around with people who want to understand and want to behave. These are two examples. Our culture and our arts are what actually is reminding us who we are. Quickly, those of you who are not aware, on December 16 of last year, UNESCO just awarded the Haitian Soup Joumou, also known as Soup Liberté, the status of protected cultural heritage in the world. Why? Because the soup joumou was ultimately prepared and consumed by Haitians on January 1st, 1804, as a stance of defiance to tell people that they are now entitled to enjoy the dignity of eating any kind of soup that others thought that they would forbid slaves or blacks to eat. So again, December 16, the Haitian Soup Joumou is called has the status of protected cultural heritage. Any January 1st, just go to a Haitian friend, just knock at the door and claim that you are here to eat the Soup Joumou, because this has been a tradition. I also want to share quickly, as we're talking about Woodzi Jeune making it as a first, I'm going to say that although the Haitian Artists Assembly of Massachusetts has been around for 26 years, since 1995. But for the first time, we are going to have at Boston City Hall, or we have at Boston City Hall, a first-time Haitian women artist exhibition. 11 of them. Edna Chéri, Youvin Joseph, Joanne Buteau, Sabrina Sainté, Iliana Chéri, Michel David, Myriam Pi, Ashley Armand, Mimi Désir, André-Luc Florimont, Florence Mardi. And the one that you don't see, because as the godmother, she's doing the work in this, behind the scenes. My very wife, Evangeline Roussel-Lucien. So all of them will be honored by Councillor Woodsy Louis Jeune at some point in the future. The reception was postponed because of COVID. Again, do keep this in mind. You can still go to City Hall and then see this first time 11 Haitian artist women exhibiting at City Hall. We are still making history. As I go along, before we get to some cultural parts, again, hard to mention names, but Wilner Auguste and his wife, Marie Auguste, since 1986. 1986, the first Haitian public access TV station here in Boston, and still going strong. Wilner and Marie Auguste. We may not have mentioned her, but I just saw earlier City Councilor Eunice Ziegler, who was re-elected in Methuen, making it also a first. I think it's a vice presidency position. I think I also want to give a shout out to Adams Olivier. He's young, pure product of IFC, now starting with his own business and managing this complicated Zoom call. We HAU are also about partnership across the board. I saw earlier Emile Cantave, who was the president of the Du Sable Heritage Association. Those of you who are hearing it for the first time, Chicago was built by a Haitian immigrant, Point de Sable, Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable, which is why there is this association, which is why there is a place that they are trying to build, which is why there is a monument to memorialize Jean-Baptiste Point de Sable, while we are waiting to memorialize that to Saint-Louverture here in Boston. The landmark of abolition. We also have Joël Augustin, who is also in Chicago, the president of the United Front of the Haitian Diaspora. So HAU has partnered with those organizations over time to fight against COVID, fight the immigration fight, get people to vote and make the right choice last year. So I wanted to take the time to acknowledge this before I pass it to Malaika, who's doing, what do we say? A fantastic job so far.
Thank you.
She's stepping only at 2 o'clock this afternoon. What are the next part, Malaika? I think we have 2 more cultural presentations.
We do. I think we're getting to the close, but before we get to there, I just want to say again, congratulations to all the awardees and everyone else behind the scenes doing this work and helping us to get here. It really is a testament to Union fait la force. So we are living and breathing that Zoom virtually. And again, can't wait to do that together as a community. So next up on our cultural presentation, we have the Fier Haiti video.
Oh, do we have actually Les Héros de l'Indépendance?
Oh, yes, we have that video as well. If we could play that, Adam. I believe it was number 13 before.
With Junior Biscuit leading the special crew. Jean-Jacques Dessalines.
Moi, c'est général, tout c'est l'ouverture. Mais cette plus belle parole me te dit. Moi, c'est un soldat. En étant papa, mon Dieu, qui est dans le ciel là. Je ne vais pas personne. Si je veux mourir, je vais mourir en soldat. Pas de rien pour me reprocher tête. Nous qu'à comprendre. Attends, c'est pas coronavirus qui t'est caméléon en plume sous d'homme. Depuis que je savon pour me laver même. Yon masque dans figim, ak yon gant, Côté que ma baille chaque monde 6 pas de distance. Wadim, si qu'on n'a pas joué à zo grandi.
Moi c'est l'empereur de Saline. Net voyant. Qui pas fait battre même devant Jean Lama. Crabiner l'armée française. Pour me battre en liberté nous. Je ne dis pas. Me lever camper. Vin di nous. Bataille la pire. Ennemi en pas petit. La couper. La pracher. Comme tendez. Dire le corona. Aïe aïe aïe. C'est lui. C'est moi tout. Mais vin di nous. Tout le monde qui perd pour le pas casser couille. Bambitation en blanche. Mais si là, yo, qui décide de marcher pour yetcho, pour quoi corona, gonfler, faire bonne bon côté. Condition, yo, c'est, lavez nous, de temps en temps, mettez masque, barrez bouche nous, barrez nez nous, l'en apprend dehors. Si spon bratafia, chachete, ak feuille l'habitation. Après ça, dit corona. Mais quoi maman? Mais quoi papa? Si vous capable, une pile. C'est moi l'empereur de Saline qui dit nous ça.
Kona! Salana! Dans l'autre, nous piquons Kona! Même qu'après la mort, qui pas jamais battre bas devant la mort. Demandez-nous, pour l'appliquer pour son visage, avec bonne tactique, pour ne pas prendre un coup de pique. Kona, qui a la gaine dans mes rats. Dis-nous, femme pour garçon d'habitation, on continue à faire propreté. Mettez masque. Mettez à distance. Pour ne pas prendre sale matassa. Qui est les Kona.
Moi-même, moi c'est Haïti. Quand les enfants, yo, rassemblez. Tombez sonner dans toute habitation pour nous rassembler les enfants, yo. Aïe! La patrie. Haïti en danger. Maman petite marée vente. Si nous campons bois croisé tant que Saint-Thomas, cabrit a fin manger jardin nous. Après ça, pour nous les fermer barrières, là déjà trop tard. Et nous mettre tout chanter en termes. Pour faire la bataille. Pour faire les sauts cabrit nous bail blanc. Mauvais j'ai tout fait. Pour nous vendre les grands monde moins. Et puis jeudi pour nous quitter division. À dévorer une l'autre. Pour qu'on a ta vie touyer. Moi-même maman nous Haïti. M'a demandé pour nous faire tête collée. On prend John ensemble. Pour nous croiser. Courir chal bari derrière Corona. Si c'est pas ça, la fin casse counou graine pas graine. Pile pas pile. Prends de l'eau. Prends savon. Mettez masque. Mettez gants. Prends distance. Pour nous sauver maman nous. Pour le drapeau. Pour la patrie. Pour Haïti. Corona ou Marxiste.
Gardez, Télébel Top, tout partout sur la terre, sur Woku.
All right. What you just heard was again our actors calling on our ancestors to pass on the message to fight Corona and to stand up to coronavirus. When we talked about the héros de l'indépendance, the heroes of our independence, I do want to acknowledge this wonderful painting here by artist Jean-Claude Sainte, who had the heroes of Haiti's independence on the top of the Vertier Hill, where the Battle of Vertier took place on November 18, 1803, to get the last French troops out of Haiti that would lead to the independence that we are celebrating on January 1st, 1804. Malaika, how do we wrap this up?
How do we wrap this up? I think we wrap this up in recognition of all the wonderful people that helped us get here, and carrying the legacy of our forefathers into the new year. Continuing to act with Union fait la force and working together and recognizing those opportunities, like so many of the wonderful women that we recognize tonight on this call, including the men. But I do recognize that some of the women have played a special role for us this year, and I just want to give them another shout out for their leadership. But I'm so grateful to be with everyone tonight and to celebrate our independence together.
I was so pleased to see that the great majority of our participants stayed with us, which, by the way, is certainly shorter than the time that you spent at Lombardo's or Natana when you come to attend live. So please do stay with us. We will continue sharing this video, and we also hope to have all of you for May, when we'll be celebrating Haitian Heritage Month with not just the US, the world, as we did the last time. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde d'être nous là encore. Québec contact là, solidarité, l'union fait la force, in unity there is strength. On seul doit pas manger kalalou. We need many fingers to be able to eat the gombo malaika, c'est ça. Et puis, nous pourrons laguer musique fière Haïti, nous devons arrêter là, danser, et puis voyer petit message à tout le monde dans le chat là. On nous dit merci spécial encore à l'organisateur, Pasteur Keke était là avec nous, Napidzo, et on merci spécial pour tout le travail que vous avez fait. Pour tout le monde que vous parlez, mais qui est là avec nous, André Dorsainville, Smith Guillaume, Fabienne Eliassin, Marie Néolien, m'a juste cité non quelques monde qui n'a Adam Olivier finalement nous figure là. Son jeune garçon qui avait aidé nous là à mort. Eh bien, nous remercions pour tout le travail que nous faisons. Et puis nous passons, souhaitez nous protéger tête nous. To protect yourself. There are people among us who actually are confronting the impact of the coronavirus or Omicron, and we do need to be mindful of that. So that's the last message as we leave. And then, Adam, si vous caractère pour nous, on t'y fait Haïti pour quitter mon mieux.
Et Charles, nous gagnons un pile considération pour vous. Merci. Parce que toujours campé pour capable non seulement host programme ça, mais préparer programme by toute directive pour que le programme soit capable bien passer. Merci un pile Charlot, merci Malaika pour le travail ça qu'on a fait. Tout membre HAU, pas qu'à nous connaissons, nous tous nous contribuons un pile pour ça capable fait. Nous pas de temps pour nous réunir, mais nous faisons quand bien même et nous prions pour bon Dieu capable de nous en parfaite santé. Année prochaine pour nous célébrer physiquement. Mon Dieu bénisse nous tous. Merci.